All right. This is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. I'm dealing with a little allergy issues here. So I'm going to try to get through this without falling all the way apart. I don't know what I ate this time, but it's really giving me a hard time. Other than that, I'm fine. Look like I'm sick, but these allergies are killing me. All right, we got a lot to talk about in this short time period. Just to recap from last night, the Rams held a 2-touchdown lead on the Seahawks late in the game, and they ended up blowing it in overtime. Um, I kind of have to put that on the head coach. He's labeled as a genius, Sean McVay. And when it comes to the game of football, and they say he's a savant, he is very intelligent. But that's also his biggest flaw, because you're running the ball pretty decent all night. You go away from the run game because you want to show the world just how good your offensive attack is. Matthew Stafford had over 400 yards. But when they needed to get yards to put the game away, they had trouble getting first downs, and that allowed the Seahawks to get back into the game. And if you just run the ball a little bit more and get that clock running, then the Seahawks may not have enough time to get back into the game. Now, one thing I noticed about the Rams and McVay, he's kind of predictable. If they get 3 or 4, let's just say 6 yards on first down, and it's second down and 4, a lot of teams think that, well, you're going to run the football to see if you can get the first down or get somewhere close and make it third and short. Well, McVay understands that, and every time he has a second and short, he's going to run play action every time, trying to hit the big one or to move the sticks. Again, to show how beautiful his offense is. But when you throw the ball and it's incomplete, it does 2 things. It stops the clock, number 1. 2, you don't get any yards. So now you're stuck with a third and longer situation. But if you just run the football, the clock starts to run, and you got time to gather yourself and come up with a different play. And you at least make the defense think that you're going to actually run the ball. But if you're going to throw all the damn time, that play action that you're trying to run is not fooling anybody. It's the same kind of thing that I try to tell some of these high school coaches. Everybody's running spread and everybody wants to throw the ball around, but if you don't have that personnel, you need to try to shorten the game as much as possible. And you do that simply by running the damn football, getting the clock going. Some coaches just don't believe in that. And if you don't believe in that, then you don't understand the basis of the game of football. And once they let me know that, then I just stop even trying to even talk to them. JC, how you doing, man? Danny73 says hello. And Good Night Munchie says Merry Christmas to everyone. Well, same to you, Munchie. I don't know how you get that name. Maybe you can describe it to us. But yes, I think McVay is the reason why the Rams lost that game. Now, Seattle already down 2 scores, and you force it to overtime. The Rams come down and score. They kick the extra point. So you have to know that the Seahawks, if they score, you might as well go for 2, because you get a ball back to the Rams, then they're probably going to score again with no time on the clock. So it was the right move to go for 2, even if you didn't get it. But it worked out for the Seahawks this time. And the Rams not too concerned about it because they know they can beat Seattle. But their biggest hurdle, to me, is the head coach. He's calling the plays, and it kind of reminds me of Sean Payton. Sean Payton's the same way when he was with Drew Brees. You want to throw. Damn the running game. Just throw. We're going to show everybody how great this offense is. I want you all to see what kind of a genius I am, and so on and so forth. McVay is just like him. And because of that, the Rams lost that game last night. But they're still in good shape. That's only their 4th loss. There are 2 games left. If they can win those 2 games, it's a possibility that everybody in the NFC West, the top 3 teams, will end up with the same 13-4 record. And if that's the case, he said last night that the tiebreaker will go to the 49ers. So we're going to have a situation what we had last year when you had Minnesota and Detroit with those 2 15-2 records. One was 15-2. Yeah, 15-2, and they had to go on the road. You're going to have the same kind of thing occurring this year, and that's just the way it goes. Now, again, good night. Munchie was the last thing I said to me. Last thing I said to me, dog. Okay, I'll figure that one out later. I don't have time to chew on it right now. The big fight is going to also occur tonight. You have Anthony Joshua, the professional fighter, going up against the YouTube turned boxer of sorts, Jake Paul. Now, Jake Paul's been training like a boxer, and he's getting more and more serious about it. But the fights he's had up to this point, um, highly marketed exhibitions are what I call them. And during those fights, he handpicked a guy that he can actually compete with, and you get competitive with it, and then maybe the outcome is fixed. I know the outcome was fixed against Tyson, even though Tyson's 20 something years older than this guy. He's still a professional fighter who was at the top of his game. Even though he can't do all the stuff he used to do, he still could take advantage of openings. Now, I liken a professional fighter going up against a YouTube guy like Jake Paul as like a guy on the streets. There have been a lot of boxers over the years who got into situations with people on the street because they recognize them as a boxer, and of course, whatever reason, they want to show out for their friends or their girl, and they want to push the guy into one-on-one action. That don't end too well for the layman, because whether you think you might be fast and quick, those guys are a whole lot quicker, and they're used to fighting against people 2 or 3 times quicker than you. So when you think you're doing something, that's nothing to them. They're just going to sidestep you, and within 10 seconds, you're going to be out. Well, it's the same kind of thing as the Jake Paul going up against Tyson. There's no way in the world that Paul could actually beat Tyson. So that had to be already prearranged that that this was going to be what this guy talking about. It had to be prearranged that he was going to get he was going to win this fight, and because of that, he was able to cut a deal with Tyson. And when he cut a deal with Tyson, Tyson was going to make $20 million. But you had to know that Tyson was going to have to fight with himself not to take advantage of some of the openers that he had against Paul. But now, Lauren says, "Hello, how you doing?" This guy, Will's product, sit down somewhere. And so you had to know that everybody has to figure out what Paul is doing. He's a master marketer. You got to give him credit for that. But people are going to call him out. Man, you keep getting these exhibition situations, yet you run around clucking and crowing like you actually did something. Step up to the competition. Well, Paul has a choice. Either you come on out and reveal that he's actually an exhibition fighter, making deals with people behind the scenes, or he has to come up and try to show that he's serious. Well, in doing that, he's got former champion Joshua lined up tonight, and that is not a good matchup for Paul. If you look at the tail of the tape there, Joshua's got 6 inches in height on him, and that means he's going to have to reach on him, and it's going to be hard for Paul to get inside to do some damage to Joshua. So my question is, what kind of fight is this going to be? Joshua has come out and said, well, if he don't knock out Paul in the first round, he has to look closely at himself to see what's wrong. So he's talking like he's coming in there and he's going to take it to Paul and destroy him like a boxer is supposed to do. But I wonder, when I look at the tail of the tape and you hear what Joshua is saying and you hear Paul with his normal marketing situation, you wonder if he's really being serious about what he's trying to say. And because of that, you have to wonder if Joshua is just putting on a show to let everybody else know or try to throw people off from what's actually going to take place. But based on what I understand about these two fighters, this should be a very quick afternoon or evening for Joshua if he's actually coming to fight. But I'm starting to think that maybe he's coming up with a gimmick so he can throw everybody else off because he knows he's not going to show up to really win this fight. Why these people would take this fight serious? Now, the thing about it, they're supposed to split a $184 million purse. So if he's making that kind of money, then it's not out of the question that he wouldn't allow Paul to look better than what he normally would look. And because of that, I think that the seriousness of the fight is up in jeopardy. And I'd be interested to see how this fight goes. But it's also good marketing that this fight is going to take place, or they're actually going to step into the ring after the college football playoff first round game rematch tonight between Oklahoma and Alabama. And that's going to take place about 8 o'clock at night in Oklahoma. And the fight, the main event should take off about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So you're going to be able to switch from the football game over to the fight if you're interested in that. So that's also genius marketing on behalf of Paul. But I do think that it's going to be interesting to see how that fight unfolds. But like I've been saying before, I think Oklahoma is at a disadvantage here. Alabama's going to come in 100%. And the reason why they lost that game last time pretty much with turnovers. They moved the ball how they wanted to move it. They didn't run it that great, but they hadn't run it great all year long. So my keys for Alabama tonight is to run for at least 100 yards and not turn the ball over. They threw an interception return for like 85 yards that went for a score, and they got 10 other points off turnovers. So that is the reason why Oklahoma, who had struggling offensive issues themselves, were able to stay in the game. So if Alabama can simply eliminate that and run the football a little bit more, then I don't think they should have any issues with Oklahoma. But on the flip side, Oklahoma has to get Mateer untracked. He only had like 40 yards rushing last time, and he threw for less than 150 yards. So he has to increase his passing production, and they need to run the ball a little bit better themselves. They only had like 75 yards rushing. So that is not a good situation for Oklahoma if that continues. But they've had a couple of weeks to look at it. They looked at the other tape, and they looked at some of the things that people did against Alabama to be successful. Now, I would take that tape from the Georgia game in the championship and throw it away because that's not the Alabama team you're going to see. A lot of those guys, the key players, were missing, and you're not going to be able to get the same result that you thought you were going to get. So the best tape to look at, I think, is the head-to-head, and then see what teams like Vanderbilt and other teams and Georgia were able to do against them, but not the whole tape as a whole against Georgia, because that's not what you're going to see tonight. But it's going to be an interesting game. Frank, what's going on, man? I'm about to get somebody to be a moderator. I got some old guy on here. He tripping. Think about these podcasts. You can sit on here and talk, and you got some guy in his basement walking around in his dirty drawers, yellow teeth falling out of his mouth, want to come on here and bother me. I'm not bothering you, but if you see him on the street, he'll walk right past you. Wonder why. But anyway, as I was saying, I think last night's game was on McVay, and because of that, he's going to be he's going to determine what happens with the Rams moving forward. If he controls himself, his urge to want to throw all the damn time instead of running the football, then the Rams going to go far. But if he do what he did last night, then they're going to get knocked off. Just what happened last night. All right. Who else I got on here? Break. I don't see Selmo. I saw JC. I don't know if JC's still on. Munchie came on. What else we got here? All right. Tavon Morris, how you doing, man? Anyway. But I just want to talk today pretty much about Jake Paul. And I think the guy's still a master showman. And he's not going to be in a serious competition tonight, because if you look at the tail of the tape there, he doesn't match up to Joshua very well at all. And because of that, I don't think he stands much of a chance if this was actually a fight. But I think the genius that he has arranged it that it's going to be X amount of rounds. He's got it lined up where he's protecting himself, in other words. And I think Joshua has certain restrictions that he has to come under. So it's not like guys that normally fight in weight classes, and they all under the same thing. He's restricted more so than what Paul is, and because of that, I think this is another fixed fight, and it's going to go a little bit longer than people think it is. But Joshua said, if you don't knock this guy in the first round, then he's not doing his job, and you have to take a closer look at himself. But I'm kind of mad with myself about the situation because a few years back, they had this thing going on with these guys, Jake Paul and his brother Logan, were going around picking on people and looking at podcasters and challenging people to come fight. I didn't know anything about that because if I had known something about that, I would have thrown my name in the ring. Then I got a film on the second fight between Logan Paul and the dude from England, KS1. And both those dudes, in my estimation, could have knocked the other one out, but they didn't. Now, those guys, of course, are a little bit better than what they were, but there were 1,000 openings under both those fighters. And had I been privy to the information that they were looking for, like I said, I would have thrown my name into the hat. And if Logan or this KS1 guy would want to fight, shit, I'll fight him now. Yeah, I'm old, but again, there's opportunity there. And if KS1 or Logan Paul want to fight in the ring, I'd be interested in doing that. It'd be a perfect opportunity to go out and get back in shape and take on these guys. And had to be under certain circumstances. And I'm risking a lot because of the age difference. But at the same time, I don't see why this is an opportunity that's worth passing up. So Paul want to get it on, we can. But I'm just upset with myself that I missed out on that opportunity to get in the ring with one of those guys. It would have been great. Break says Seattle will win the NFC. No, Seattle will not win the NFC. The Rams are the best team in the NFC. But the question mark is Sean McVay. Is he going to call the right game? He don't want to run the football enough. He just wants to throw. And the little fake play action pass he's doing, that's all predictable. And this is stuff I'm watching just from watching the game. If I go back and look at all the film that they look at over the course of a week getting ready for a game, I'm going to see more trends from McVay about what he's doing. And it's pretty obvious. He play action pass, they're going to throw the damn ball. I don't even honor the fake. He's going to have to prove to me that he can run the football or wants to attempt to run the football. And he has to do that before I even think about honoring those fakes. Because I know in short yardage situation, you're going to run a play action and try to throw behind it. If you don't bite on the fake, then you don't have those passing routes wide open. It's obvious. Donald's arm did bring back Seattle for the win. Yeah, but Donald damn near threw him out of the game. He threw Cooper Kupp fumbled the ball at the end of the first half. Then he threw 2 interceptions when they were about to score. So Donald, he was detrimental to the Seahawks last night. But it was the Rams who had the opportunity to put away from him, and he didn't do it. So I think that's got a lot to do with the head coach. Selmo, what's going on, man? I see you picked up on what he's talking about too. Eco trolling over here, JC. I'm trying not to pay him no mind. I tried to block him and move him, but for whatever reason, it's allowing him to go on with that. So we're not going to pay him any mind. But what I like to do, we can go find out who this guy is, and we go pay him a visit. That's what we can do. All right. But anyway, yeah, but I think that the Rams are going to pull away with that division break, and it's just a matter of where they end up in the playoff seedings now. They don't control their own destiny now. They split with Seattle, but whatever reason, the 49ers have the tiebreaker. And if they all end up tied, that's what's going to end up happening. The Rams probably end up with like the 5th or 6th seed. And they may get the 49ers or Seahawks in the first damn round. We'll see how that works out. But I think that is the McVay's fault. He just wouldn't run the ball last night, and when he needed Seattle to really be in a bind, they had too much time because he kept doing 3 and out with the clock stopped. He gave them all the opportunities in the world. So that's on the head coach, not the players. But tonight, like I say, Jake Paul, I think he's biting off a little bit more than he can chew. And if Joshua is serious about taking his head off, that's exactly what he's going to do. But all that sideline stuff, the real thing is football. Football is always going to be the tops over here. Everything else is just something to do until football comes back around. And tonight we got the college football playoffs, version number 2. Alabama going into Oklahoma, rematch from earlier this year. Alabama turned the ball over 3 times, gave up 17 points. One of them was an 87-yard touchdown return. They were about to score and blew that. They had 2-1 on yardage, and time of possession wasn't that much difference, but still, the difference in the game was the turnover. So just like the Jaguars go as Trevor Lawrence go, Alabama goes as their quarterback Simpson goes. If he doesn't throw interceptions tonight and they can run the football a little bit better than what they're doing, I expect Alabama to win this game. Tomorrow, Miami goes into Texas A&M. You would think that Miami wants to prove something by being in the playoffs, but I think that Texas A&M is going to determine who wins this game. If they're able to run the football and they don't fall behind early in the game, then they should win this game. Texas A&M is a second half team. And if they're tied or within a touchdown of Miami, they're going to figure some things out in the halftime like they've always done this year, and they're going to win that game. But if they fall down 2 scores or more, they're not going to catch them like they did South Carolina. And Miami's got the speed to make them pay. They got a good receiver. I forget his name. And A&M is going to counter them with that good pass defense they have. But the difference is, can Texas A&M run the football? Can the quarterback make enough plays to keep them in the game? If they're able to do that, then Texas A&M should win this game. But don't be surprised if Miami gets by. But that's tomorrow. Tonight is the big game, SEC rematch. And it's real big to SEC fans because they think that they're superior to everybody else outside the SEC. And even Oklahoma and Texas have adopted that philosophy. They thought they were superior before they got in the SEC, so they really think they're superior now. So when you see Indiana sitting there in that one spot, you're going to get the winner of this game, they're already looking past that, in my mind, to the semifinals. And that's a mistake because Indiana's actually a damn good football team. And if you ain't careful, SEC might just be in real trouble with that. But first things first, rematch tonight. I think Alabama gets it. They don't turn the ball over like they did the first time. Oklahoma's still struggling on offense, and that's going to be the difference. Now, I will say this about Oklahoma. Not a big Brent Venables fan. I think he's overrated. But this year he bounced back, and he's done a good job. So I give him his credit for it. But me, I go against Venables every time because I just don't see I'm not impressed, I should say. All right. So anyway, I appreciate you guys chiming in. That's the last horn of the week. We got 2 weeks after this. I'm gonna come back to work until January, so I'm gonna have to get up and make sure we stay on our morning schedule here. And got a lot to talk about in the morning. We got those college playoffs, and we have the fight to recap. A lot of things to talk about tomorrow. So unless there's some breaking news, I can come back on if there's some breaking news. If not, more than likely I'm going to see you in the morning. So wherever you are in the world, we have a great day. And all my regulars there, I appreciate you guys chiming in. All the new people, Gyrangle, Break. Who's got somebody else you not be talking to because you have a Timu hairline. Okay, that's some kind of silly statement, but I'll take that too. So peace out, Gyrangle. Appreciate you stopping in. Dusty Animator, all of you guys, JC, Selmo. Catch you guys on the flip side, man. Have a great day. Got to get ready for this Christmas stuff, parties and all of that. Well, you know how that is. But Steelers, we got the Lions this week. Big game. We can get by the Lions, and Baltimore gets knocked off by